choreographer for tonight is Kankana Dasgupta Nath. And the name of the dancers that you will be seeing tonight is Anamika, Kuhelika, Shreshyasi and Tarit, and also Shatabdi, Kirti, Namrata and Pratika. And the costumes are provided by GK Event Sonari here in Jamshedpur. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Here are the Chandan Dance Academy.
जब जीरो दिया मेरे भारत ने मेरे भारत ने दुनिया को तब गिनती आई। तारों की भाषा भारत ने दुनिया को पहले सिखलाई। देता न दशमलव भारत तो यूं चांद पे जाना मुश्किल था। धरती और चांद की दूरी का अंदाजा लगाना मुश्किल था। सभ्यता जहां पहले आई, सभ्यता जहां पहले आई, पहले जन्मी है जहां पे कला। अपना भारत वो भारत है जिसके पीछे संसार चला और आगे बढ़ा। यूं आगे बढ़ा बढ़ता ही गया। भगवान करे ये और बढ़े, बढ़ता ही रहे और फूले फले, बढ़ता ही रहे और फूले फले।
चुप क्यों हो गए? और सुनाओ।
हो हो है प्रीत जहां की रीत सदा। जहां की रीत सदा है, प्रीत जहां की रीत सदा। मैं गीत वहां के गाता हूँ, भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ। है प्रीत जहां की रीत सदा। हमने तो दिलों को जीता है। जहाँ राम अभी तक है नर में, नारी में अभी तक सीता है। इतने पावन हैं लोग जहाँ, इतने पावन हैं लोग जहाँ। मैं नित नित शीश झुकाता हूँ, भारत का रहने वाला हूँ, भारत की बात सुनाता हूँ। पत्थर भी पूजे जाते हैं। उस धरती पे मैंने जन्म लिया हो, उस धरती पे मैंने जन्म लिया। ये सोच के मैं इतराता हूँ, भारत एक यही आवाज हर दिल से निकली,
एक यही आवाज हर दिल से निकली।
One God, one world family, one God, one world family। विश्व एक परिवार है,
विश्व एक परिवार है,
एक पिता के हम सब बच्चे, ये अपना संसार है। One God, one world family, one God, one world family। सबको लेकर साथ चले, हाथ में देकर हाथ चले,
सबको लेकर साथ चले, हाथ में देकर हाथ चले।
प्रेम एकता पवित्रता, प्रेम एकता पवित्रता सुख शांति का आधार है। One God, one world family, one God, one world family।
सबका मालिक एक है, उनके सामत भेद है।
सबका मालिक एक है, फिर कैसा मतभेद है।
एक बने
एक बने हम समय की यही पुकार है। One God, one world family, one God, one world family। विश्व पिता का कहना है, मिलजुल कर हमें रहना है।
विश्व पिता का कहना है, मिलजुल कर हमें रहना है।
शुभकामना
सद्भावना ही,
शुभकामना सद्भावना ही विश्व शांति का द्वार है। One God, one world family, one God, one world family।
Bless glorious platinum jubilee, bless glorious platinum jubilee, मंगलमय हो platinum jubilee, मंगलमय हो platinum jubilee। Happy happy platinum jubilee, happy happy platinum jubilee।
One God, one world family, one God, one world family। सुफलं मलयज शीतलं शस्य श्यामलं मातरं वन्दे मातरम्। जय जय कलिया सर सर चलती पवन शुभ तेरे मातम वन्दे मातरम्। जंगल जंगल डाली डाली चांदनी पर से सपनों वाली, तेरे चरणों का चुंबन ले हम, शीतल मुस्कान तेरा तरफ वन्दे
वंदे मातरम।
ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन, ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन, दुल्हन के माथे की बिंदिया। ये मेरा इंडिया, ये मेरा इंडिया। I love my India, I love my India।
ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन, ये दुनिया एक दुल्हन, दुल्हन के माथे की बिंदिया। ये मेरा इंडिया, I love my India। ये मेरा इंडिया, I love my India।
आओ बच्चों तुम्हें दिखाएं झांकी हिंदुस्तान की, इस मिट्टी से तिलक करो ये धरती है बलिदान की।
वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
आओ बच्चों तुम्हें दिखाएं झांकी हिंदुस्तान की, इस मिट्टी से तिलक करो ये धरती है बलिदान की।
वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
आया हूँ मैं प्यार का ये नगमा सुनाने, सारी दुनिया को एक सुर में सजाने, सबके दिलों से नफरत को मिटाने। आओ यारो मेरे संग संग बोलो, हे हिंद को शुमार हिंद में प्रायो। आया हूँ मैं प्यार का ये नगमा सुनाने, सारी दुनिया को एक सुर में सजाने, सबके दिलों से नफरत को मिटाने। आओ यारो मेरे संग संग बोलो, हिंद को शुमार हिंद में प्रायो।
मेरे देश की धरती, मेरे देश की धरती सोना उगले उगले हीरे मोती। मेरे देश की धरती,
मेरे देश की धरती, मेरे देश की धरती सोना उगले उगले हीरे मोती। मेरे देश की धरती, मेरे देश की धरती।
कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं। अब तो हमें आगे बढ़ते हैं रहना, अब तो हमें साथी है बस इतना ही कहना। अब जो भी हो शोला बन के पत्थर है पिघलाना, अब जो भी हो बादल बन के पर्वत पर है छाना। कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं। कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं। निकले हैं मैदान में हम चाहते भी पर लेकर, अब देखो दम लेंगे हम जाके अपनी मंजिल। खतरों से हंस के खेलना इतनी तो हमें हिम्मत है, मोड़े कलाई मौत की इतनी तो हमें ताकत है। हम सरहदों के वास्ते लोहे की एक दीवार है, हम दुश्मनों के वास्ते होशियार है तैयार है। अब जो भी हो शोला बन के पत्थर है पिघलाना, अब जो भी हो बादल बन के पर्वत पर है छाना। कंधों से मिलते हैं कंधे, कदमों से कदम मिलते हैं, हम चलते हैं जब ऐसे तो दिल दुश्मन के हिलते हैं। मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा, ओ सुर बने हमारा।
And now, to continue our warm welcome to you all, I'd like to introduce to you the next two dances by the Unity Group. And the choreographer for these dances is Jaya Lahiri. And the dancers this evening are Kanshia, Ankita, Ishani, Pamela, and Rajeshri. So welcome the Unity Group.
अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, जीवन मधुबन, शिव बसंत है। मधुबन का स्वयं श्रृंगार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता। शिव अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, जीवन मधुबन, शिव वसंत है। शिव है सूर्य, हम सूर्य की किरणें, ज्ञान उजाला शिव से पाना है। सत्यम शिवम यहाँ वहाँ हम कितना ही भटके, शिव ही अंततः सबका ठिकाना है। सत्यम शिवम शिव समुद्र है, हम सरिताएं, मधुर मिलन के स्वप्न सजाए। शिव सहज समर्पण स्वीकार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता। शिव अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, जीवन मधुबन, शिव वसंत है। सत्यम शिवम शिव विराट है, हम बिंदु मात्र हैं। शिव महादानी, हम योग्य पात्र हैं। बिन मांगे ही अनुग्रह वो उदार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता। शिव अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, जीवन मधुबन, शिव वसंत है। शिव अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, जीवन मधुबन, शिव वसंत है। मधुबन का स्वयं श्रृंगार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता, हर कली हर फूल से वो प्यार करता। शिव अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, शिव अनादि है, अनादि है, शिव अनंत है, अनंत है, जीवन मधुबन, मधुबन, शिव वसंत है।
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the Unity Group from here in Jamshedpur. My name is Anthony Phillips, and it is my great pleasure and privilege to be your Master of Ceremonies tonight. So welcome to everybody here. This is a program, the Future of Power, and this is a program that has been initiated by the Brahma Kumaris. And behind this program is a fantastic team that I'm very proud to be just a very small member of. However, it is now my great pleasure, as the first thing we do tonight, to introduce the leader of our team. But before I do that, I would like to give you a little bit of an idea of what you're going to experience this evening. Yesterday, we had the first day of our Future of Power program. Yesterday, we had a dialogue amongst over 40 of the leaders of your community here in Jamshedpur. And actually we had some others from Ranchi also. Now this program that we had yesterday was quite private. It was here in this hotel, but it was fantastic, and I see some of my friends here. I feel like I have good friends from yesterday. We talked about some really deep matters, and what we really want to do tonight actually is give you a flavor, give you an idea of what we did yesterday, and we hope that by the end of this evening you also will feel inspired and motivated for your future relative to this wonderful title of the Future of Power, which has so much actual meaning for your India. So to start off the program tonight, it really is my great pleasure to introduce our fearless leader of the Future of Power program, somebody who is really the instigator of this whole thing, who has been driving it for the last 2 years, and this program has been going all over India, and I myself over the last 2 months have found myself in the very far south of the country, in the very far north of the country, to parts of your country where I thought I would never go, to the east, to the west, and now I'm here in the heartland of India, in this beautiful town. I have to tell you, I am really happy to have had the last 3 days here in Jamshedpur. There is just so much beauty and fun and love in everybody that I meet. So now to introduce Mr. Nizar Juma. Mr. Juma, Nizar I call him, and I hope you'll call him that by the end of the evening, is a big man. But yes, he's big in body, he's bigger than me, so I'm always very polite to him. But he's actually a big man in his heart. This is a very busy man. He's an industrialist. He comes from Africa, from Uganda. He lives in Kenya. He is Indian by blood, and he loves India. And he has been very closely associated with India through the Brahma Kumaris, and he has personally felt a great urge to do what he can to help your country. And of course, he has come to know you more through the Brahma Kumaris, which is a spiritual organization. And so actually, everything you hear tonight, although it's dressed up as the Future of Power, is all about your own innate spirituality and the power behind that. This man, Nizar Juma, is an extremely busy man. He is the chairman of the board of 51 publicly traded companies, so I just do not know where he gets the time to do what he does. However, he has told me that his work in business is completely secondary to his real work, which right here, right now, is the Future of Power. He has been doing this program now for the last 2 years. Well, I think we're in our 15th city that we have visited. And what amazes me about Nizar is his ability to come into a city and just to get to know all the people there. And anyone who meets him, he just pleases their hearts. It's fantastic. I don't know how he does it. He's a really, really lovely person. So now, can I welcome to the stage a very good friend of mine now, Mr. Nizar Juma. Welcome, Mr. Juma.
Anthony has really given me a very, very big introduction, which I hope I'll be able to live by. We also want to thank him. Anthony has come all the way from Oxford in England to be with us today, and he has done this of his own free will and of his own accord, and also as a volunteer. So please give him also a very, very warm welcome. I also want to tell you that we have a number of foreigners here who have also come here specially for this program. They've flown here and are amongst us here, and we have people from France. Marc Foucault is here. We have Sarah from Cambridge in England. We have Moni, that some of you have already met, from Australia. She's also head of our Future of Power team. We have Betty, all the way from Canada, no less, who has also come all the way here to attend this program. So we are delighted to have all of these people, especially to attend this program here. My job is to explain to you what is Future of Power all about. And as Anthony has already told you, we spent with some of you who are here today, a whole day yesterday in talking about this very important program, very important title, which is very close to my heart. My origin is Indian, as you see. Cosmetically, I'm definitely Indian, although my great-grandfather went to Africa. And so we are 3 generations born now in Africa. But we haven't lost our connection or our feeling for India. And this program is all about India. Some of you may find it a little bit surprising that we are talking about world power. World power as it is. And what was world power when world power was here in Bharat? Up to 2,500 years ago, world power was here. Did you know that? Did you know it? And so, when that power was here, it was what we call soft power. Because we were ruled by benevolent kings. Benevolent kings who were not elected, who were not in that place because of any special reason, except they were the best people to rule our people with love, with caring. And so we called it soft power, because there was no need for the police and for guns and for all of those things. So this is our upbringing, our heritage, comes from this base. That's why you see that later on, when we didn't have world power, we were very trusting. If anybody else came from outside and said, we are coming just to show you the way and to protect you and to do this, that, and the other, we were very trusting and said, okay, come. But we found out that they became our rulers. And they were then bringing in hard power. All of a sudden there were police and there were army and there were guns and there were all of those things that comes with hard power. The Mughals came and we accepted them. Then came the Iranians. They came and took away the peacock throne without a single bullet being fired. Then came the British. Nothing against the British who are here. It was your forefathers. But they came. and said they are coming here to protect us, to do some business. And then we lost power again. And that was also hard power. World power from Bharat moved to other countries. Then it went from here, not necessarily in that order in which I'm saying, but it went to China, it went to Egypt, it went to Rome, it went to Greece, it went to Spain, it went to Great Britain, and now it's sitting in America. But in America, power is absolutely hard power. Because their power is controlled by how many missiles, guns and tanks and everything else that they've got, and how much money do we have. That is now the definition of what world power is. But as you also know, there is a shift in power again. What we've had 3 or 4 years ago, from 2007-8, we started to get this economic meltdown, then comes financial meltdown. And you are all seeing what's happening in Europe and North America. GDP growths are going further and further down. Countries are bloated with debt. There's negative GDP growth, and everything is changing. Okay? The change is that everything on earth is cyclical. Cyclical means everything goes around. What starts here comes back here. What goes around comes around. So power is on the way back. Where? To here in Bharat. We can debate and say it's coming back to the east, and it is going to go to China, wherever else, but I'm convinced that this power, world power, is coming back here in Bharat. The question is, when this power comes back, are we able to make this power soft again? Are we able to? Because when power comes back, we are going to become the custodians of this power. It's not going to be here again forever. It will be here for a period. And as the custodians of this power, can we make it soft power again? Soft power means that it is not with guns. Today the big question is about so much corruption, about this, about that. Yes, there is one way to fight corruption, and that is in Parliament or everywhere else, and people can say, I'm going to go on a starvation diet, lots of things like that. But the real fight against all of these is that we need to have very strong inner power so that we are able to resist this. You will not fight real problems like corruption with laws. You'll fight it when the credibility of the people, when the inner power of the people changes. That's when we will want to stop all of the rubbish that's going on. So, I as an industrialist partnered with the Brahma Kumaris, because normally speaking everybody is saying, please don't mix serious things like business with religion or spirituality. Isn't that the way of the world now? Say, look, in the morning we do our prayers. Or if I'm a Muslim, I do it on a Friday. If I'm a Christian, on a Sunday. If I'm Jewish, on a Saturday, and so on. But please, don't combine the two. They don't compute. Or at maximum they say, listen, all this pratna business is fine, but it's for women and old people, not really macho men. Don't be fooled. Don't get into this mistake. The real power is when you bring spiritual thought and action into your daily life. This does not mean that you have to become a sannyasi. This does not mean that all day long you have to sit and pray. This means I'm talking spirituality, not necessarily about religion. This means I need to bring spiritual thought into my daily life. It means if I decide I don't want to give sorrow to anybody, or I don't want to have anger in my life constantly, this is spirituality being brought into your daily life. These are the kind of things we are talking about. How to make power soft is to combine my daily life and to bring this into my daily life. Not to have special time when I'm going to do this. Bring it into my daily life. This is what will bring real change into our life. Each one of us needs this. Each one of us feels better when we do anything with a spiritual background. We look forward to doing that. We look forward to going to work if it is in this state of mind. If we are doing dirty things all day long, when we come home, we don't feel good about ourselves. We want to feel good and we want to benefit. And doesn't mean we want to give up our responsibilities. We don't want to say, now I abandon the responsibility of my family, my children, my business, everything. No, we have to take care of all of those things and still be spiritual. So that is what this whole thing is about. It was discussed at great length with some of my friends who are sitting up here, and it was debated, how can we do this? All these people that came were from very different professions. They are not necessarily all business people or politicians or industrialists. They came from all walks. We had head of school there. We had singers. We have all different professions there. But all of them were powerful, because when they spoke, people listened to them. And so it is all of you that has been invited here. You need to bring spirituality into your life so that when you act in the new way, everybody that sees and does that you know will also see the difference in you, and it will make a difference to them. No doubt, my friends, in my mind, power, world power is coming back to this country. You can accept it or not. Yes, you can clap by all means, because it's coming. It's definitely coming. You need to prepare for it. We who are living outside can see this much more clearly than you can do inside your country. Don't just say, oh, this is too difficult, there are too many badness now, too much corruption. Don't say that. We need to start with one. Mother Teresa started by picking one child from the gutter. Gandhi could have said, what can I do? I'm on my own. Don't think like that. Think positively. Say, if I do it, people watching me will do it, it will start. And this is why Anthony already told you we've had this in 15 cities already. We are doing it in 32 cities all over India. And we are making a difference because we are following these people and say, have you brought changes in your life? And if you have, what is the result of what you are doing? And at the end of it all, we will have one big dialogue in Delhi where we are going to go in front of your government and tell them, this is what is needed. This is what the people of Bharat are saying they need to do. Okay? Thank you very much for listening. Did I overgo?
Thank you, Nizar. So you see, tonight is very practical. It's about your own power. It's about what you can do from the inside out. And so the next part of this program, I hope you will find very instructive and informative, but also somewhat entertaining, because we have managed to convince 5 of the participants from yesterday to come up and agree to be somewhat interviewed by me. I will be trying to educe from them some of the experience and thinking and insights that we were discussing yesterday. Now, the purpose of this next 35-40 minutes is to really give you a little bit of an insight and a flavor of what exactly we were up to. As I said, there were 41 of your leaders in your community, in this state, gathered to what we hoped was to go very deep and really get into the difficulties and the practicality of spirituality as it relates to leadership. Because it's all very well to say good things. It isn't so easy to actually be good. So, let me begin. I'd like to introduce each one of these fine people on stage to you one at a time. And I'd like to begin by introducing you to Dr. Swatantra Prakash here. And Dr. Prakash, I feel slightly intimidated being on stage with you because, to say the least, you've done more in one life than most people do in many in terms of your really fantastic scientific accomplishments. You are, I think, at heart a scientist. You were trained as an engineer, I believe, and became a pure scientist. And I know that you have connections with the UK because we had a lovely conversation about that. You're a clear thinker. You are a critical thinker. You are an extremely brainy person, so I'm not going to compete with you on that area. But one of the things I learnt was that you are a man with a beautiful heart who's got a lot of passion about this subject of deep spirituality and goodness and how we can bring it out in daily life. So what I would like to ask you is whether you would mind sharing your insights and thoughts following our conversation yesterday. And if you talk too long, don't worry, I'm an expert at shutting people up. Dr. Prakash.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Anthony, for such kind words. I'm just a student of science, still a student of science, trying to find out what science is about, try to understand things. So just a little while ago, Nizar mentioned that many people came to India. The question that comes to my mind, why did they come to India? I don't think they came here to rule India. They all came out of curiosity. As he also mentioned that India was a world power at that point of time. And yes, whenever there is a power, we all go to that, to get the power out of it. And they all came here to be empowered. Because India was at that time relevant, India was most powerful, and they all came here, and they were not so relevant, even in the business, but India was. If you figure out in those days when we were doing the business, we were doing all relevant businesses, and people were really looking at it. But they all came here, they got empowered, and they went back to their own places empowered. If you just look at these people who came here, now we go a little more deeper into that. Who are these human beings? They all were human beings. Whether they came to rule us, whether they came for curiosity, or whether they came for business or trade, but they were human beings. And ever since the first man came on this earth, and today as we sit here, what has changed and what has not changed? What has not changed in our body? The organs. We still have the same heart, same lungs, same liver, everything same. Nothing has changed. But what has changed? The intelligence. And if you look at from those days till today, there has been many manifestations of power, many connotations of power, which we derive, which we define in so many words by taking the name of the leaders, by taking the name of the people. but they all had some or the other power. Whether they wanted to rule, whether they wanted to do whatever, but they were always using their intelligence. And they were always ruling those who had less intelligence. It doesn't mean India had less intelligence, but India was having a different kind of power, which was a spiritual power. But in the process, whenever there is interaction, we always lose something and gain something. In the process, they gained what we had best, and we gained what they had not so good. In this process, we got somehow into the system where we lost our values. We thought spiritualism may not help us. But if you look at if you just compare 30, 40 years ago, where were we? Where were we? We were all having all kind of hardwares. Nobody realized that today the IT or the intellect power will be so much that we were sitting at one place, we will be able to do everything remotely. If you see 20 years ago, we were used to go for telephones. That was a project to go and make a call. Today we are just by the push of the button, just by the finger, we get all information at one place. This is what intelligence. Body, mind, intellect. Now the next level is spirit. And this is all coming because we all are spiritual people. Immaterial, where we belong to, where we come from. But this is spiritualism, how we can use best. We always try to find and figure out. We use our intelligence to criticize others. We use our intelligence to make mistakes, find out mistakes. But we never look in ourselves. Yesterday Anthony did exercise where we had a chance to look inside. And certainly I can see yesterday's experience was phenomenal for me. Fantastic. When we could see inside, and I also see from outside to inside. The letter which I wrote, I've already kept it in my door. I'm going to open it after a week or 2 days, 2 weeks, and they see what I have written. Perhaps I just said I may not believe it.
Yeah.
Because that was not me.
That's right.
It was the inner power, the intelligence, or you can say whatever is spirit, that wrote to myself.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of thing I want to evolve. And perhaps we are very highly spirited people. The spiritualism that we have, the power of spiritualism that we have, is certainly going to bring out. And then we should find who do we belong to and who belongs to us. That's how it can be communicated.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Prakash. Now, you know, one of the things that I just got from what you were saying was that one of our problems is that we've kind of forgotten who we are and just how fantastic and powerful we are. And so we did some exercises to sort of try and trick ourselves into revealing ourselves to ourselves. I'd like to go on to my next victim, and that is Mr. Bodhanwala. Now, I don't think I need to do much introducing of you in this community, because I have a funny feeling you are extremely well known here. But when I see the title on my sheet of paper here to know who you are, it seems rather at odds, because it says here you're a social worker and an industrialist. So this is amazing. And I experienced you yesterday speaking from your heart about what you consider the responsibility of a leader to be. And I was wondering whether you could share with us a little bit more about that inner, deep responsibility that we all have, and clearly you have been practicing over these past years.
People who we become people who others will have confidence in, faith in, and only when people have confidence in you and faith in you and are ready to trust you will they believe you. So once you are ready to be the kind of leader that is required to bring about the change in society, you go ahead and influence the people around you. And the first group that you influence is your family, because that is the core of you. Your family needs to be sort of brought in the right spirit of good values, good morals, and a good character. And that's where today the biggest complaint in society is that parents do not give value time to their children. How much time do we really spend to, bring in the right attitude in their minds, make them positive thinking children, and bring in them good habits that are really necessary, which they will take along with them. We do complain most of the times that in a home also, the parents don't realize that sometimes they're doing a lot of things which are a bad influence to their children. We do not realize that, and we continue to do that. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, we need to first change ourselves and then change the people around us. Move on from that, and then there are a lot of people who you are associated. And today we talk about the society which is not very well off. And starting from there is our domestic help. These people stay probably in your own home. They have their own children. They need to, you need to drive in good practices into them. And an effort should be on your part to educate those children also, because what this country really needs is education. Education for all. And if you really see that as we go along, there are a lot of illiterate people in our country. And until and unless they get educated and they are able to understand what is right and what is wrong, until and unless they are able to read for themselves and understand the qualities of life, they will never be able to take themselves. They get carried. And today, as you know, in most cases they are being used as instruments of chaos and instruments of mischief wherever they are, because they can't understand for themselves. And if somebody comes along and guides them in the right direction, in the wrong direction, they just follow. They do not have their own thinking in these matters. Well, beyond that, most of you are having an industry. You work in a place where you have a lot of people around you. I think from there on you move to the people who are working around you, and try and have dialogues where you work together to bring about a better change. You need to discuss this. A lot of times we do not have time to discuss social issues and guide the people in the right direction, right from the office boy to the person who's your clerk or whoever it is. I mean, they all need to. So as I put it, I mean, it's very, very essential that we need to inculcate a feeling of good habits, good thoughts, good systems, by approaching each and every one of these people. And slowly by slowly, if we are able to motivate and change the mind of these people, we will have a better society. And it's the better society that works towards a society of power, which can help in bringing things way ahead. I do understand we have a lot of problems in our country.
Mr. Hawalia, let's just stop there, because you've said so many interesting things, and I thank you very much for that. There are two things that you mentioned that I have a feeling may have slipped through without you realizing. You said what we need is to educate. Yeah? Do you remember that word, educate? Well, can I share with you a little bit of information that you may not know? Who here knows what the derivation or the source of the word education is? Does anyone here know that? Interesting, isn't it? We use this word education and we don't know the source. Do you know that the word education comes from Latin? Educare. And do you know what that means? It means to educe from within. So education, the source of education, means to bring out that which is within. You can see the connection, I think. The second thing you said that was beautiful was that we need to give time. And yesterday, I remember in our discussions, we considered this idea of just giving our brothers and sisters, the people we live with, the people we're associated with, just time. Time to share. Time to be with each other, so that we can do all these good things that you're talking about. So thank you very much for reminding me of that. Let me just go now a little bit closer to Sarah Fitzgerald. Now Sarah, you are a foreigner. You come from England. And you're here sitting in Jamshedpur, which isn't exactly a tourist city, although I have to tell you, it's a very pleasant one. And I happen to know you a little bit now, and understand that you yourself are on a spiritual quest, and here you are, coming close to the Brahma Kumaris, and I hope you're enjoying it, and being entertained by our processes. You experienced yesterday's discussion, and I wonder whether over just the next couple of minutes, whether you might be able to share your insights and your inspirations, because I know you wouldn't believe looking at me, but you're the youngest person here on the stage at the moment. So you're looking at these things from a more youthful perspective than us old people up here. So give us your insights and inspirations.
Good evening, everyone. I have to say it's the hugest honor to be sitting here. Regarding insights, I began meditation when I was working as an interior designer in London, and it was with the Buddhists. I just had a flash of realizing that there was peace from within, which contradicts pretty much everything that Western culture is promoting. So it was quite hard to explain what had happened. Regarding being in India, I'm here to fulfill more of the language of what that is within. Otherwise it's like second-hand chapati. Learning spirituality in the UK, it's what is it? When people visit India and they come back, they have this magical sort of look in their eye, but they can't explain what it is, you know. What is it that's magic? Yesterday I touched upon some points, which was the way of caring that I've seen and was more clarified. All relationships here seem to have the depth and value and the hearts of everyone I've met and everyone I see. So I've never experienced my heart to feel so full as I have being in India, and I wouldn't trust anyone that was to comment on the state of the world, or anyone who was to comment on a value system, if they haven't spent a long time in India with people who have something I can't put into words, but it's the richness and depth of being human. You've got all the ingredients here, and I find it inspiring to have the full palette in this country.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. And now, to my left here, Mr. Marc Foucault. Marc, I know I've known you for many, many years, and you actually have been living here. You're not just a visitor, you live in India. And you, I mean, I don't know how you do it, you must be smarter than me. You've managed to get the very best consulting jobs in the country, and your clients are like a who's who of business and industry here. So I regard you as one of the most knowledgeable people about what's going on in the new India and all these exciting things that are happening in business and in industry. And I know that you have a very close association with spiritual matters and think deeply about all this stuff. I wonder whether you could share your inspirations from yesterday, but I would ask you whether you could just make some comments about what you think are the obstacles that will prevent us, will prevent India from doing what we dream.
Thank you. Big question. Good evening. First of all, answering the first part of the question, when I put my foot down, on Indian soil in 1981, was in Delhi, I had a very strange feeling that I was at home. I was connected to the motherland, to Bharat. I had this very, very strong feeling, and yesterday I had also this amazing feeling of confluence, of sangam, of different spirit, different mind, different perspective on what is the future of power. And it has been for me a great experience to listen to you all, because you picture somewhere from your different perspective what is the future of power. What I learned when I came in India, I'm a student of Raja Yoga. I'm studying meditation for the last 30 years. And I feel the more I know that I don't know somewhere. You know, if we compare knowledge to a sphere, imagine, it's a metaphor, but if we compare our knowledge to a sphere, the more we get knowledge, the more the sphere becomes big. But also the surface to the unknown increases also. So the more I know, the more I'm in touch with the unknown. It means to me that India is today, as Nizar Juma said, India is today carrying the future. It's my experience. It's carrying the future. When I came in 81 here, I remember I saw the car, the ambassadors, I saw India as a kind of underdeveloped country 30 years ago. Today India is about to lead the world. India is the fifth or the fourth nation in terms of power today. And my guess is that India is going to take the lead in the next few years. Not only the economic lead, I would say the spiritual lead. This is where I really joined Nizar Juma, but the power is coming back to India. And listening to you yesterday, I found this fantastic sangam between science, industry, social responsibility. And I'm traveling quite a bit in the world, in Europe particularly, because I'm French. Sorry, nobody's perfect. But I see India today collecting, crystallizing, aggregating, can we say that in English? My Franglish, sorry for my Franglish. Aggregating the beta power. Beta power is just economy, finance, raw things. It's matter. I speak under your control. And alpha power, this alpha power which is the inner power. So today in India what I see is this sangam between hard power, we have been talking about, and the soft power, the alpha power. And from different, let's say, input and contribution from people yesterday, I found really this alpha power is taking place in India because of the value system, because of the deep spirituality, wisdom, and it makes me, I feel very enthusiastic and inspired to stay for the next 30 years in India. I'm not sure it will be.
And now,
there are some parameters.
Now very quickly, because I want to have time for everybody to participate here, just very quickly, the obstacles. What's going to get in the way of the success? If we really want to do this, what's going to stop us?
The answer for me is very clear, but I'm not sure it's...
do you think they can handle it?
Easy to explain. I think we are, that's my very personal feeling, we are in a deep confusion today. The main obstacle is the obstacle of identity. We are not human beings with a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings with a human experience. And the starting point, the obstacle, is this identity to this body.
Yeah.
We are not this body. We are souls. We are energy in this body.
Okay.
That's the main obstacle I see.
I'm going to stop you there because we're running fast out of time, and I want to just introduce the last person on the stage here who hasn't yet spoken. It's Mr. Rajan Kamani. Now, you're another person I don't think has to have much introducing in this community, because reading your biodata, I would say that very clearly you are part of what we would call the establishment, because you have been here, your family's been here since 1920, your grandfather, it says here, was a strong-willed Gujarati businessman. Well, I don't know about you, but I've met some weak-willed Gujarati businessmen, and they're pretty strong-willed to me, so your grandfather must have been quite something. And in my short experience of you, you are quite something, because clearly you are very passionate about bringing this spiritual thinking into practicality. So share with us your insights from yesterday, and really show us a little bit how we're going to do this moving forward. Mr. Kamani.
Good evening. See, what I agree with Nizar, that power is coming into India. Historically, 2,500 years ago, which he was saying, that power was with India. I feel that spiritually, even today, we are much superior than any other nation in the world. It's a fact of life that from our country, people have taken Raj Yoga, they have learned so many things, and unfortunately, as Nizar in the afternoon was saying, in 1935, Lord Macaulay had come to India, and he reported back to the Parliament in London, saying that if we want to colonize India, then we have to change the thinking in the educational system and teach them that Indian products are bad, Indian systems are bad, then only we can get control of this country. And what has happened is, I think historically, because of that, we ourselves are not appreciating the fact that our spirituality and our thinking is much superior than others. I think we should go back to our roots, we should go back to our spirituality, and we have to go back to our original way of living, where our thinking was that with love, respect, we should take people forward, and as Nizar is saying, soft power is what we have to bring into our society. Because that is the only way, I think, that we can make a change. And as Bailey was saying, that make a change starting with your family, then with the employees around you, and then with the society at large. And do it by example. If you yourself are upright, if you yourself are honest, if you yourself are the kind of a person which will become a role model for society, then society people will emulate you. They will also look at how to go forward on that. And spirituality is what we have to all accept and understand, that is the reality. Soul is real. Body is here today, it's gone tomorrow. So we all have to look at the soul, right?
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. A big hand for our participants here. Now, I would like to invite you to all remain there, and I would like to invite some others to the stage, because the next part of the proceedings this evening is going to be our candle lighting ceremony. So while the stage is being rearranged, I'd like to invite BK Dr. Nirmala Didi up onto the stage, who's the director of the Academy for the Better World in Mount Abu, the Brahma Kumari's headquarters. Mrs. Daisy J. Irani, please come to the stage, and I will be introducing her in greater length a bit later on. And BK Rani Didi, please, from our subzone in charge, come. And BK Anju Didi, and you're already here. So please be upstanding now, and Nizar Juma, you're coming up to the stage, thank you. And I'd like to also get Sister Maureen Chen and Betty Steinhauer. And if you could gather around the candles, and we will have our candle lighting ceremony. Please come forward. Thanks. I'd like to invite those on the stage to light the candles in the candle lighting ceremony. So of course this is the great symbol of the lighting of the spirituality of the soul. So thank you very much. I'd like to invite those who are on stage with me to return. And Betty, you stay here. Come and sit down, Mr. Juma. Mrs. Irani, do come to the stage. Dr. Nirmala. And I'd like to ask the music to be turned down, please. Thank you. And this little opportunity, while we're rearranging the stage here, I would like to give the opportunity for two people who've come a long way to be with you this evening. The first is Maureen Chen. Her name here in India is Morni, the peacock. And she actually, I have to tell you, she is my boss. So whatever she says, do it. Morning.
So this is actually my third trip to Jamshedpur, because I'm involved in organizing the Future of Power programs. I've lived in India for the last 2 years, and I do really see that I've met hundreds of leaders, maybe 800 or 900, all over India, and I do see that there is still spirituality here, and there is great leadership. I've met some truly amazing people. Yesterday, another 30 or 40 here in Jamshedpur, and so I do believe that India can lead the world, and I would like to see India lead the world because I would like to see soft power coming back. So thank you for having me here in Jamshedpur. It's a very green city which I've enjoyed. Going for walks in the morning has been very beautiful and a very rare experience for me in India. So thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Moni. And now, Betty Steinhauer, coming all the way from Canada. She was a participant yesterday, and she was also a participant in Guwahati, the other side of Bangladesh, in your Seven Sisters. So she's becoming an experienced future of power person. Betty Steinhauer.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It is my great honor to be here in your wonderful city. And this is my third Future of Power that I've been involved with, one last year and two this year. And I guess my message is always the same. It's Indian families, never lose your values, because your values are what separate you, I think, from the rest of the world, and it is extremely important. I'm here for a period of 3 months working in the Global Hospital as a volunteer in Mount Abu, and I've done this for the last 2 years. So again, thank you so much for your hospitality, and thank you for the wonderful dialogues we had yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. And now we come to the next part of our program. And to begin, what we would like to do is somewhat change your consciousness. I invite you all now to participate in a short meditation so that the heart and the mind can become clear and calm. And to lead us in this meditation, we have an extremely experienced yogini. And this is Rajyogini, Rajyogini Sister Rani Didi, and she is the sub-zone in charge of Bihar and Jharkhand, and has been a Raj Yogi for 60 years. So now I invite you to be led in meditation by Sister Rani Didi. Thank you.
Om Shanti. आज हम आध्यात्मिक शक्ति की चर्चा कर रहे हैं। आध्यात्मिक शक्ति प्राप्त करने वाली शक्ति आत्मा है। आइए हम महसूस करें कि मैं एक आत्मा हूँ। पावरफुल हूँ। मेरे पास शांति की शक्ति है। मेरे पास प्रेम की शक्ति है। मेरे पास आनंद की शक्ति है। मेरे पास सुख की शक्ति है। मैं आत्मा जिसका रूप ज्योतिर्मय है, लाइट है, उसके अंदर स्पिरिचुअल माइट है। मेरा संबंध ऑलमाइटी सर्वशक्तिवान परम पिता परमात्मा से है। मेरा उनके साथ रिलेशन है। वो मेरे परम पिता है। मैं उनकी संतान हूँ। वो मेरा है। रिलेशन आकर्षित करता है। मन को अपनी ओर खींचता है। संबंध का अधिकार महसूस कराता है। महसूस करें, मैं परम पिता परमात्मा का हूँ। वो मेरे परम पिता है। वो शांति के सागर है। वो आनंद की सागर है। प्रेम के सागर है। मेरा उनके साथ कनेक्शन है, रिलेशन है। इसलिए उनको याद करने से वो पावर मेरे तक पहुंच जाती है। मुझे शांति की अनुभूति होती है। शक्ति की अनुभूति होती है। कारण कनेक्शन और रिलेशन, यही योग है। इस योग का अनुभव हर समय कर सकते हैं। संबंधियों की याद हर टाइम आती है। याद करना नहीं पड़ता। जहाँ प्यार है वहाँ याद है।
ओम शांति। ओम शांति। अच्छा, आज जमशेदपुर में जाना है। मेरा निज़ार भाई कमाल का काम करता है, मोरनी भी अच्छा साथ दे रही है और भी बहुत अच्छे सहयोगी हैं। मेरे ख्याल में एंटनी भी शायद वहीं होगा। तो ठीक है, फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर मैं कहती हूँ, फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर कहें या पावर ऑफ फ्यूचर कहें, फ्यूचर के लिए पावर चाहिए या पावर ऐसी हो जो मेरा फ्यूचर, मेरा भाग्य मेरे हाथों में है। क्योंकि परमात्मा बाप कहते पास्ट इज पास्ट, पास्ट का कोई चिंतन नहीं करो, फ्यूचर का फिक्र नहीं करो, प्रेजेंट में ऐसे रहो। ऑलमाइटी से माइट लेकर के अपनी सब कमजोरियों खत्म करके सर्वशक्तिमान से शक्ति लो, संसार में रहते हुए न्यारे प्रभु के प्यारे बन जाओ। बिल्कुल इजी है। आज हम बता रही थी यहाँ बहुत अच्छा हैप्पी की रिट्रीट चल रही है। इनर पीस इनर पावर टॉपिक रखिए। इनर पीस इनर पावर, अंदर की पीस है तो पावर है, पावर है तो पीस है। सारी अंदर की बात है। अंदर में जितनी पीस है पावर जमा होती है। तो पीसफुल रहने के लिए आज के संसार में शक्ति चाहिए, पावर चाहिए। उसके लिए पावर से अपनी स्थिति को, अहंकार को छोड़ मारो, देह मान से छोड़ो, देह के भान से परे हो जाओ। क्यों मनुष्य में बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस बहुत है, सोल कॉन्शियस रहो। मैं आत्मा परमात्मा का बच्चा हूं, मुझे क्या करना है संसार में। संसार को दिखाने के लिए मुझे कोई ठगी चोरी नहीं करना है, लोगों में न धोखे में आना है न धोखा देना है। मुझे क्या करने का है? हिम्मत, विश्वास, सच्चाई, बस अंदर अपने में हिम्मत है तो मदद भगवान की है। सच्ची दिल पर साहिब राजी है, ऑटोमेटिक। सच्चाई और हिम्मत है, सब काम अच्छा होता है। यही निज़ार भाई अनुभव है ना। आपने हिम्मत विश्वास रखा है, सच्ची दिल है, कितना इस पावर ऑफ फ्यूचर में कितना सबको फायदा हुआ है। कई आत्माओं को परमात्मा का परिचय मिलते, कर्मों की गुह्य गति को जानते, कितना इस जीवन में परिवर्तन लाने के लिए रास्ता सहज दिखा रहे हो। इसलिए मैं थैंक्स आपके भाग्य को देती हूँ। थैंक्स जो वहां से सामने हाजिर हुए हैं जमशेदपुर में। मैं कभी गई नहीं हूँ शायद, लेकिन ड्रामानुसार आप लोगों ने सेवा की है, कर रहे हो, तो मुझे खुशी है बहुत। तो खुशी जैसी खुराक नहीं, खुशी भी मजबूत बनाती है। भविष्य सदा खुशी रहे, दुख का नाम निशान न रहे। भगवान कहते हैं दुख न दो न लो, फ्यूचर अच्छा है। न दुख दो न लो, फ्यूचर में क्या लो? दुआएं लो, सबकी दुआएं दो। दुआएं लेना, अच्छे कर्म करना, परमात्मा की शक्ति से बुराइयों से किनारा कर देना। कोई बात बुरी, वैसे सिर्फ कहते बुरा मत सुनो, बुरा मत देखो, बुरा मत बोलो, लेकिन हम कहते बुरा मत सोचो तो फ्यूचर अच्छा हो जाएगा। या टेंशन अपने ऊपर रखना है, टेंशन फ्री, अटेंशन प्लीज। प्लीज अटेंशन ऐसे रखो जो भगवान कहे ये मेरा बच्चा, संसार में परमात्मा का बच्चा, हिम्मत बच्चे मदद बाप, कान भौंकाने वाला बच्चा, कैसा भगवान कौन है, कैसा है, क्या करता है और अब क्या कर रहा है। अधर्म का नाश, सत्य धर्म की स्थापना, सत्यता और प्रेम कितना हर इंसान को की वैल्यू को बढ़ाता है। अच्छा 2 मिनट साइलेंस करती हूँ। 2 मिनट सिर्फ है। ओम शांति। जब ओम शांति कहते हैं तो अंतर्मुखी बन जाते हैं। एकाग्रता की शक्ति से बुद्धि स्थिर हो जाती है, अडोल चल हो जाती है। कैसे भी सरकमस्टेंस आते हैं उसका समाधान समस्या का यही है, अंतर्मुखता एकाग्रता की शक्ति से अडोल चल रहना, केयरलेस नहीं रहना, केयर फ्री रहना। एक परमात्मा में विश्वास, दूसरा दृढ़ संकल्प, सफलता सदा ही साथ दे रही है। ओके, ओम शांति। सभी खुश रहो।
Didi Nirmala is the director of the Brahma Kumaris Academy for a Better World in Mount Abu, the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris. But she is also the director of all the Brahma Kumaris centers in Southeast Asia and Australasia, which means in practical terms anything between Calcutta and Los Angeles is hers. And so welcome to Dr. Nirmala, who will now address us.
ओम शांति। ओम शांति का अर्थ जैसे अभी सुना, अंतर्मुख होकर एकाग्र होना, अपने आप को याद दिलाना मैं आत्मा शांत स्वरूप हूँ। तो मंच पर उपस्थित माननीय वक्तागण तथा सभा में उपस्थित हमारे भाई बहनें, हम सभी ने अभी काफ़ी बातें सुनी कि फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर कैसे भारत में फिर से आएगा। अभी क्योंकि भारत की हालत देखकर कभी कभी हम लोग सोचेंगे कि भारत में इतना करप्शन, भ्रष्टाचार, वायलेंस आदि आदि है। इस भारत में फिर से सॉफ्ट पावर, जिसको इन्होंने बताया, राम राज्य आ सकता है? ये सवाल होता है ना। राम राज्य एक बारी था, ये हमें पक्का है। और गांधी जी भी चाहते थे कि फिर से राम राज्य हो, परंतु इतना कांग्रेस का पुरुषार्थ होते हुए भी आज हम देख रहे हैं भारत को स्वतंत्र हुए आज कितने साल हुए, 1947 से आज कितने साल हो गए। भारत की हालत भल करके, जैसे इन्होंने बताया कि इकोनॉमिकली हम लोग स्ट्रांग होते जाते हैं और सब सोचते हैं कि हाँ भारत में या ईस्ट में फिर से आबादी होंगी, तो चाइना और भारत रेस कर रहे हैं इकोनॉमी में आगे बढ़ने का। परंतु जहां हम देखते हैं भारत की ये हालत है, तो सवाल तो उठता है कि फिर से राम राज्य कैसे आएगा। तो राम राज्य की स्थापना करने का कार्य है निराकार राम का, और इसके लिए हमें अपने अंदर स्पिरिचुअल पावर जमा करनी है। जैसे अभी भी सुना कि हम लोग एसेंशियली स्पिरिचुअल है। जैसे आध्यात्मिकता या धर्म भारत के हर एक बच्चे के नस नस में है, वो तो है ही, परंतु आज हम देख रहे हैं इतने शास्त्र है, गुरु है, सन्यासी है, इतने धर्म, मठ, पंथ भारत में है, फिर भी भारत में जितना भ्रष्टाचार है, हम सोच रहे हैं कि कैसे फिर से श्रेष्ठाचारी भारत बनेगा। तो आपको खुशी की बात सुना रहे हैं कि भारत में फिर से राम राज्य जरूर होगा, परंतु उस राम राज्य की लाने के लिए हम सभी को पुरुषार्थ करना पड़ेगा। कि जो हमने अभी धर्म और कर्म को अलग कर दिया है, धर्म और प्रैक्टिकल जीवन या बिजनेस का जीवन या जो है हमने अलग कर दिया है, अभी हमें उस धर्म को जीवन में लाना है। क्योंकि भगवान को याद तो सभी करते हैं, परंतु देखा गया है कि कभी कभी हम देखते हैं मुख में राम बगल में चूरी, हरी भरी बर दानत बोरी, ऐसी हालत हो गई है। तो इसलिए अभी हमें सिर्फ मुख में राम नहीं रखना है, मन में राम रखना है। राम माना त्रेता युगी राजा राम नहीं, परंतु निराकार राम, जो हर एक मनुष्य मात्र का पिता है। क्योंकि नहीं तो कोई कहेंगे भाई हम तो क्रिश्चियन है या मुस्लिम है या सिख है या पारसी है, हम कोई राम को थोड़ी याद करेंगे। परंतु निराकार राम परमात्मा सबका एक है, चाहे किसी भी धर्म को हम मानते हो, परंतु भगवान सबका एक है। और निराकार को हर धर्म में स्थान दिया गया है। तो परमात्मा जो परम पिता है, सर्व का पिता है, जिसको न सिर्फ हर धर्म वाले मानेंगे, परंतु हमारे पूज्य देवताओं को भी हम दिखाते हैं कि राम ने भी जब सेतु बांधता था उस समय शिव जी की पूजा की। रामेश्वर पर इसलिए शिवलिंग या शिव का मंदिर है, और गोपेश्वर में श्री कृष्ण को भी शिव जी की पूजा करते दिखाते हैं। और हम कहते भी है देव देव महादेव, ब्रह्मा देवताय नमः, विष्णु देवताय नमः, शिव परमात्माय नमः। तो शिव जी जो कि निराकार है, वो वास्तव में इतने बड़े आकार का नहीं है। यदि शिवलिंग हम देख सकते थे या शिव जी को हम देख सकते थे, तो आज दुनिया में इतनी कंफ्यूजन जो है भगवान के बारे में कि भगवान कौन है, वो ना होती। निराकार है, अव्यक्त है, अजन्मा है, अकर्ता है। इस कारण क्या है, हम परमात्मा को मानते हैं, जानते नहीं, और इस कारण हमारा बुद्धि योग उस परमात्मा में एकाग्र नहीं होता है। जब हम उनको जान जाएंगे, उससे हमारा संबंध जुट जाएगा, तो हम देखेंगे कि वो सर्वशक्तिमान से हमें शक्ति मिलती रहती है। और हम सभी का ये अनुभव है, क्योंकि जब तक हम अनुभव ना करें, हम कैसे मानेंगे कि भगवान कौन है। क्योंकि देखने की तो चीज नहीं है भगवान, अनुभव करने की चीज है। तो हमने देखा है कि हमारे पास कई भाई बहनों को साक्षात्कार तो हुआ ही है, परंतु लाखों भाई बहन जो इनका अभ्यास करते हैं, उनके जीवन में बहुत परिवर्तन आया है। जो बहुत गुस्से वाले थे, आज वो शांत हो गए हैं। जो शराब सिगरेट के बिगर रह नहीं सकते थे, आज न सिर्फ वो छोड़ दिया है उन्होंने, परंतु दूसरों को भी उसका त्याग करने में मदद करते हैं। सिर्फ शराब सिगरेट की तो बात छोड़ो, परंतु हेरोइन, marijuana, कोकेन आदि हार्ड ड्रग है, उनका सेवन करने वाले भी उन्होंने इन हार्ड ड्रग का त्याग किया है। तो जैसे आपने अभी भी सुना कि आपको घर बार छोड़ने की दरकार नहीं, भगवान को याद करने की। घर में रहकर अपना नौकरी धंधा करते हुए भी हमें अपने जीवन को ऐसा बनाना है, और उसके लिए हमारे निज़ार भाई एक प्रूफ है कि बिजनेस भी करते हैं, परिवार के साथ भी उन्होंने संबंध रखे हैं, और उसके साथ साथ इस आध्यात्मिक प्रवृत्ति में भी इतना ही पार्ट ले रहे हैं। और सिर्फ एक निज़ार भाई हमारे सामने नहीं है, हमारे पास ऐसे 9-10 लाख लोग हैं जो गृहस्थ व्यवहार में रहकर भी अपना जीवन ऐसा श्रेष्ठ बनाने का पुरुषार्थ कर रहे हैं। और इस आध्यात्मिक शक्ति के द्वारा सिर्फ क्रोध नहीं जीता है, परंतु क्रोध के साथ साथ लोभ, मोह, द्वेष, वैर, ईर्ष्या, आलस्य आदि आदि सब विकारों का त्याग करना संभव हो गया है। तो इसलिए जब हम यहाँ अपने में आध्यात्मिक शक्ति भरेंगे और हमारा परिवर्तन फिर परिवार को परिवर्तित करेगा। कहते हैं ना, चैरिटी बिगिंस एट होम। तो जब हम बदलेंगे हमारा परिवार बदलेगा, जब हमारा परिवार बदलेगा तो हमारे बाद में संबंध संपर्क में आने वाले भी बदलेंगे और धीरे धीरे हम समाज को बदल सकेंगे। तो इसलिए जैसे हमने अभी एक दिए से अनेक दिए जगाए हैं, परमात्मा है जागती ज्योत, हमेशा वो एनलाइटन है, वो आकर हमें हमारी ज्योत आत्मा की जगाते हैं। तो जब हमारी ज्योत जग जाती है अर्थात हमें अपना परिचय मिल जाता है, क्योंकि आजकल साइंस ने और टेक्नोलॉजी ने और एजुकेशन ने बहुत हमको शिक्षाएं दी है और हम समझते हैं कि हम जितना जानते हैं हमारे बाप दादा नहीं जानते थे। हम बहुत आगे बढ़ चुके हैं, साइंस में आगे बढ़ चुके हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी में आगे बढ़ चुके हैं। आज हम हार्ट का ट्रांसप्लांट कर सकते हैं। आज हम एक देश से दूसरे देश में चंद घंटों में पहुंच जाते हैं। तो हम समझते हैं हम बहुत आगे बढ़ चुके हैं। इनफैक्ट भल करके हमके साइंस और अन्य प्रकार का नॉलेज है, परंतु हम अपने आप को भूल गए हैं। अपने आप को हम शरीर समझकर चलते हैं, भूल गए हैं कि हम असल में आत्मा हैं। जब ये आत्मिक स्मृति हमारी रहेंगी तो परमात्मा की स्मृति सहज हो जाएंगी। अब क्या है, आत्मिक स्मृति नहीं है तो भगवान को भी याद करने बैठते हैं, हाथ में माला रखते हैं, राम नाम जपते हैं, परंतु मन काम में भटकता रहता है, पास्ट का सोचते हैं, फ्यूचर का सोचते हैं। तो इसलिए अभी हमें मन को एकाग्र करने के लिए इन बातों को समझना पड़े और साथ साथ जो परमात्मा को त्वमेव मातश्च पिता करके हम गायन करते थे, अभी प्रैक्टिकल में उनके साथ माता पिता का संबंध मानना है। क्योंकि गाते हैं हम, परंतु फील होता है कि ये हमारे माँ बाप है। देखो, लौकिक माँ बाप को हम कभी भूलते नहीं। शरीर भी कितना सालों पहले छोड़ दिया होगा, हम जरूर याद करके आंखों में आंसू आ जाएंगे। परंतु भगवान को याद करने बैठते हैं और बुद्धि यहाँ वहाँ भटकती है। अब उसको एकाग्र करने के लिए हमें सचमुच उनके साथ संबंध जोड़ना पड़े। और जब संबंध जोड़ते जाएंगे तो माँ बाप से क्या मिलता है बच्चों को? वर्षा मिलेगा बाप से। कौन सा वर्षा भगवान से हमें मिलेगा? तो वो है प्योरिटी, पीस एंड प्रॉस्पेरिटी, पवित्रता, सुख और शांति का। भगवान से हमें सिर्फ एक जन्म का नहीं, जन्म जन्मांतर का वर्षा मिल सकता है। तो इसलिए आज समय थोड़ा है, इसलिए आपको ज़्यादा बातें नहीं बताएंगे, परंतु आपके शहर में जमशेदपुर में हमारे 7-8 सेवा केंद्र है। आप जरूर जाकर ज़्यादा लाभ ले सकते हैं। और इन केस आप वहाँ नहीं जा सकते हैं तो आप अपनी इंडस्ट्री में, कंपनी में, ऑफिसेस में, जहाँ भी अपना ग्रुप इकट्ठा करेंगे, बहनें आकर आप सभी के आपको आपके स्टाफ को लाभ दे सकती है। तो इसलिए यहाँ की बातें यहाँ रखकर चले नहीं जाना, साथ में ले जाना और अपने अंदर पावर बढ़ाने के लिए और अपना भविष्य और भारत का भविष्य फिर से जो था पुराने ज़माने में वो लाने के लिए हम सभी को उसके अंदर अंगुली देनी है, अर्थात सहयोग देना है। जितना हम सहयोग देंगे ईश्वरीय कार्य बहुत जल्दी ही संपूर्ण हो जाएगा। ओम शांति।
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to invite our chief guest to address us, Mrs. Daisy Irani. Now, I haven't met you for more than a few brief seconds on this stage, but in those brief seconds I can tell by your vibration and your aura that you are a person, another person, with a very big golden heart. And through your position in society, as I have to say, a paragon of good citizenship, you have used your position for the greatest of benefit for the most people in your community. And so you are one with the best qualifications as our chief guest. So I welcome you to the stage, Mrs. Irani. Please give a warm welcome to our chief guest.
Thank you, Anthony. The world that we live in today is in different stages of development. We have the developed nations like USA, Japan. We have the developing nations like BRICS, which includes India, China, Western Europe. And we still have underdeveloped countries in this world, like parts of Africa, South America. And there is no silver bullet, or there is no fixed remedy to bring these underdeveloped countries make them into a developed country. There is no one size that fits all, because the solutions to progress varies from one country to another. Different regions require different appropriate solutions. Take the case of history and USA. They had the slavery in USA years back, then followed by Civil War, Abraham Lincoln. It's all history. Take the case of Japan. After the Second World War, they were wiped out completely. But due to perseverance and discipline and hard work, look what they've become today. And look at us now. It is frightening to see all the scams that are taking place around us. What is sad is I think now the people in power are thinking about filling up their own pockets and not about the country. They are not concerned about what is good for our country. They are concerned about filling up their pockets and getting votes and taking decisions that will get them votes. So I think a time has come that we as citizens and we as the people of this country should get together and make sure that we reject this form of governance. As I mentioned earlier, there is no fixed solution, because each country has different solutions for their problems. But there's one factor that is constant over geographies, and that is values. What are values? Value is a beacon of light which will guide you to your path in darkness. Values will help you to hold steadfast during turbulent times. It is an anchor to your ship in a sea of turbulence. However difficult the situation is, it will anchor you and make you reach your goal. Values make a man of integrity. A man people can trust and follow. Values give you hope for a better tomorrow, for a more secure tomorrow. Unfortunately, some people tend to take shortcuts or quick gains. But this unlawful means of path that they follow is always short-lived. It takes a lot of courage and inner strength to stand by your values, your convictions, knowing that fully well that there'll be a lot of hindrance on the way, but it always pays in the long run. Hopefully in India today, a system will also emerge, because the country, the society, and each and every one of us demands that we have a better country to live in. Take the example of Jamshedji Tata, J.N. Tata and Jamshedpur. In the early 1990s, when he wanted to set up a steel plant here in Jamshedpur, he first sent social scientists to this area to see whether the project will benefit the people of this area, whether it will affect them in any way. And then later on send their engineers and scientists to work out the economics and set up the steel plant. How many corporates do behave in this way nowadays? They only look at the economics first and decide whether to set up the plant or not. They're not concerned about the adverse impact it might have on people around. To my mind, what we need the most is education. I think I'm repeating myself, it has been said before also. But as you also said, Anthony, educure, which means it should come from within. Educate them in values. The people must be educated to make proper choices during elections, not to get swayed by insincere people, insincere promises and freebies that are doled out to them. Look around us. It is frightening what is happening. And I think history has shown that like in other countries, we will also surpass it and it will pass. And it is the duty of each and every one of us that we are aware of what's going around us and be responsible citizens. That we can make and educate people so that they can make well-balanced choices to develop our nation. And in this area, I think organizations like Brahma Kumari must hasten the process to spread the awareness amongst the people to take the right path and teach them about the right values in life. Because values is essential for a better and brighter tomorrow. The opposite of values is apathy. When apathy sets in society, the society will never progress. We cannot sit and say, what can I as an individual do? Each and every one of us have to contribute in a small way, make a beginning to make sure that our society progresses. One should always remember that lasting partnerships happen during adversity and not during good times. Since our country is going through a period of shameful scams, we as individuals and organizations like Brahma Kumaris should get together to form a partnership to take the country to greater heights, where there is no caste, religion, disparity in our nation, and every citizen leads a decent and healthy life. Like Mr. Nizar Juma said, I'm a great believer that India will become a world power, a soft power, and we will lead the world soon. This will only happen when the love of power, which is prevalent now, will be replaced by the power of love, which is the prime teachings of this organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Irani. Beautiful thoughts. And now I would like to invite Dr. Nirmala to make our a presentation to our chief guest. Thank you. the story of immortality, the story of you and I. And I would now like to invite BK sister Anju Didi to be upstanding to make the vote of thanks. Thank you, Didi.
ओम शांति। सबसे पहले तो थैंक्स देते हैं उस ऑलमाइटी पिता परमात्मा को जिन्होंने शक्तिशाली प्रेरणा दी और ये कार्य संपन्न हुआ। उसके बाद थैंक्स देते हैं रानी दीदी जी को जिस कार्यक्रम को यहाँ प्रैक्टिकल करने के लिए उन्होंने फाइनल किया। निजार जुमा भाई जी को भी बहुत बहुत थैंक्स देते हैं जिन्होंने, जहाँ की इंटरनेशनल कार्यक्रम करना थोड़ा एक चुनौतीपूर्ण कार्य होता है क्योंकि जहाँ की विदेश के भाई बहनें, बहुत लोग ऐसे भी हैं जो कभी ट्रेन में सफ़र नहीं करते हैं लेकिन उनको जमशेदपुर में आने के लिए ट्रेन में सफ़र करना पड़ा, काफ़ी दिक्कत का सामना करना पड़ा। बहुत सारे भाई बहनें आए हैं विदेश से, तो उन्होंने इस कठिनाइयों को झेलते हुए भी यहाँ आना स्वीकार किया। निजार जुम्मा भाई को और उनकी पूरी टीम को हम बहुत बहुत थैंक्स देते हैं। और मोरिन बहन ने खास करके जब रांची से पहली बार आई थी, बहुत कठिनाइयों का सामना उन्होंने किया था रांची से यहाँ तक कि बाय रोड आने में, लेकिन फिर भी उनको बहुत बहुत थैंक्स देते हैं कि कई प्रकार की कठिनाइयों का सामना करके बावजूद भी इतने सुंदर कार्यक्रम, जो कल डायलॉग का कार्यक्रम चला था उसमें भी बहुत ही अच्छा कार्यक्रम चला, लेकिन उसको संपन्न करने में कई चैलेंज का सामना उन्होंने किया, तो बहुत बहुत थैंक्स उनको देते हैं। डॉक्टर निर्मला दीदी खास करके माउंट आबू से आदरणीय दादी जानकी जी का मैसेज लेकर हम सभी के बीच आई और उन्होंने भी बहुत सुंदर प्रेरणा से हमें लाभान्वित किया। हम उनका भी बहुत बहुत थैंक्स देते हैं। साथ साथ थैंक्स देते हैं हमारे मीडिया के भाई बहनें जिन्होंने बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से इस कार्यक्रम को प्रचार प्रसार में बहुत अच्छा अपना सहयोग दिया। इस होटल के मालिक राजीव दुग्गल जी का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। कल के डायलॉग के कार्यक्रम में खास करके भोजन हमें कराना था और बाहर से बना करके हमें यहाँ लाना था, सेंटर से बना कर लाना था, और उन्होंने लीक से हटकर इस कार्यक्रम, इस भोजन को यहाँ बाहर से लाकर बनाकर ला करके परोसने की छुट्टी दी। पूरी टीम लगी हुई थी कई दिनों से उनकी भी इस कार्यक्रम को संपन्न बनाने में, तो हम उनकी पूरी टीम को, जीएम और उनकी टीम सहित बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं। और जमशेदपुर और उसके आसपास के सभी सेवा केंद्रों के भाई बहनों का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं जिन्होंने बहुत दिनों से इतनी मेहनत की है लगातार, जिसका वर्णन नहीं किया जा सकता है। और मैं आप सभी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं जो मेरे सामने बैठे हैं। अगर आप नहीं होते तो कार्यक्रम की तो कल्पना भी नहीं की जा सकती है। तो गगन की शान तारे हैं, चमन की शान बहारें हैं, हमारी शान तो इसी बात में है, हमारी शान तो इसी बात में है कि आप सभी हमारे हैं, आप सभी हमारे हैं। और इतने सुंदर कार्यक्रम को संपन्न बनाने में हमारी बहन डेजी रानी जी, बहुत पुरानी इनसे परिचय था और भगवान ने चाहा इनको आज के इस कार्यक्रम के चीफ गेस्ट के रूप में स्वीकार किया और आपने भगवान के इस निमंत्रण को स्वीकार किया। आपको बहुत बहुत थैंक्स देते हैं। बहन सुरेखा नेरुलकर जी को भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देते हैं कि आपने भी इस कार्यक्रम में आकर हमारे कार्यक्रम को चार चांद लगाए। आप सभी को फिर से निमंत्रण देते हैं। हमारे स्थानीय सेवा केंद्र, इंटरनेशनल हेड ऑफिस तो माउंट आबू है, लेकिन स्थानीय सेवा केंद्र अनेक है जिनसे आप मेडिटेशन की क्लासेज भी अगर चाहें, आगे की जानकारी भी लेना चाहें तो ले सकते हैं। सुबह शाम सभी सेवा केंद्र खुले होते हैं। और अनाउंसमेंट है कि आप कार्यक्रम के लास्ट में लाइन बनाकर आएंगे, हमारी दोनों दीदियों से प्रसाद ग्रहण करेंगे। और ब्लेसिंग लेंगे, उस ब्लेसिंग के पीछे यहाँ के सभी सेवा केंद्रों का आपको डिटेल मिल जाएगा। फिर से कहेंगे बहुत बहुत थैंक्स आप सभी को जो आपने इत्मीनान से इतनी देर बैठकर इस ईश्वरीय मैसेज को सुना। लेकिन फिर भी एक रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे, ये मैसेज हम सभी छोड़कर यहीं न जाएं। ये था अपने जीवन को सशक्त बनाने के लिए, अपने जीवन के फ्यूचर को सशक्त बनाने के लिए, अपने जीवन के फ्यूचर से भारत और विश्व के फ्यूचर को सशक्त बनाने के लिए ईश्वरीय योजना के अंतर्गत ये मैसेज फ्यूचर ऑफ पावर। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी को मेरे तरफ से फिर से ओम शांति।
ओम शांति। So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our evening, and thank you very, very much from our hearts, from the heart of Nizar, from the heart of all of us. Thank you for participating, and we hope enjoying, and we hope you leave inspired for your very, very bright future, a value-filled future. Om Shanti and good night.